Hi, I'm Catherine Lilly with Acacia Collaborative. Today I am going to be talking to you about how to manage the dreaded mom guilt. So, if you're a mom and you ever find yourself feeling overwhelmed with guilt and just flooded with questions about, am I making the right choice for my child? Am I spending enough time with my child? Did I love them enough? Did I teach them the right things? Am I being too harsh? Am I being too soft? All of these kinds of questions that come up. Um, it sounds like you more than likely are experiencing mom guilt. And I would venture to say that for moms out there, probably you experience this on a daily basis. So I wanted to share a few tips with you today that can hopefully help in managing some of these feelings. The first thing I want to talk about is the importance of taking time for yourself. Now, this might be a little counterintuitive because I think one of the frequent feelings of mom guilt surrounds feeling like you're maybe not spending enough time with your children. But being able to take a little bit of a break for yourself, take some time for self care can be so critical. Ultimately, if you're able to manage your own physical, mental, and emotional well being, you are going to be a much more refreshed, energized, and present mother to be able to spend time with your children. So, being able to have a little bit of a break, a little bit of time away is going to have a really big payoff for the time that you are able to spend with your children. Some quick examples of some things that you might do for self care and taking a break would be things like exercising, going for a walk, meeting a friend for coffee, um, doing something to pamper yourself, like a pedicure, which would be wonderful. Or even if you're really crunched for time, just being able to take a long, hot, uninterrupted shower, that in itself can make a world of difference. The second thing I want to talk about is reaching out for support. Again, when you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed and just questioning if you're making the right choices, I think it can be really helpful to reach out to anyone who is supportive, but in particular, other moms or other parents out there that are either going through what you're going through around the same time, or someone who's been there in the past. Just being able to talk with someone and have an open ear, and hear from someone, that they've experienced similar things and what you're going through is normal, and um, you're not alone. That can be really beneficial just to kind of feel a little bit more relaxed and accepting of your situation. The third thing that I want to mention is be very mindful of seeking out information when you're running into a parenting challenge. I think for many of us now, with the internet being so easily accessible, if we are running into a challenge with our children for things like sleep issues or behavioral issues, it's really easy to just jump on Google, type in our questions, and then we're flooded with all kinds of information. And as you start to dig through this information, you often find that a lot of it is conflicting. You have all kinds of opinions out there. So it can become actually more overwhelming and more confusing and anxiety provoking, and can just lead to just a lot of feelings of being unsure about what to do, what information to follow, what information is correct or incorrect. So rather than turning to the internet for information, you might just want to take inventory of yourself and your family, because ultimately it's going to be important to do what is best for you and your family. So take a look at what your needs are, what your strengths are, maybe what has worked in the past, what has not worked in the past, other factors that might be involved in the environment, those sorts of things, and let that information and those things guide what your choices are and how you might address a challenging situation. And I think ultimately just understanding and coming to accept that it might be a little bit of trial and error. You might have to try a few things before you really find something that sticks or something that works, and that's okay. The last thing that I want to mention, and I think, at least in my opinion, is probably the more important thing that I wanted to hit on today, is trying to come to a place of peace and acceptance with mom guilt. We can try to challenge these feelings and thoughts, we can try to distract ourselves from them, but I would imagine more than likely they're going to continue to creep up, probably on a day-to-day basis. So rather than putting all this energy into trying to get rid of these feelings, maybe trying to channel that into a place of coming to accept and find peace with the feelings of mom guilt. Ultimately, if you are having these feelings of mom guilt, it's coming from a place of love and caring for your children and just wanting the best for your children. And that's a really good thing. So when you find that the guilt is rising and the questions are starting to flood your mind, if you can try to take a step back and just use this as a signal to let yourself know, okay, I'm a good mother. I care about my children. I love my children. I want the best for them. And all of these feelings and thoughts that I'm having are just a signal to let me know and reassure me that that's the case. So, if you didn't have mom guilt, I would say that either you're doing everything perfectly, which is not realistic to say, or you just don't care, which again, I don't think is the case. So the mom guilt can actually be a signal, if you use it in the right way, to let you know, hey, you're human, you're not perfect, and that's all right. And you genuinely love and care about your children. And ultimately, as a parent, that's probably the most important thing. So having that awareness and taking a little bit of a different perspective on it can maybe allow you to move toward a place of finding peace with those feelings of guilt and the questions that arise along with that. So just to recap, a couple of things that I mentioned today that can be helpful for managing mom guilt. Number one, take some time out for yourself, for self-care. Number two, reach out for support. Number three, be mindful of seeking out information from outside sources, such as on the internet. And you might want to consider turning toward your family to try to find the answers for how to handle a challenge. And then number four, trying to move toward a place of acceptance and peace with mom guilt rather than trying to put your energy in challenging it. So I hope that you found these tips helpful. If you'd like any more information or if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. My information is listed on this page. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much.